Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next interview of the Masters of Manifestation Online Summit 2020. Today, we're with Camilla HANSSON. Camilla, thank you very much for being here today. I look forward to talk about the law of attraction, manifestation, and how to move from our desires in our mind to making it happen in our physical reality. So you've been Miss Sweden 2014, and you're now the founder and CEO of Camilla Organics, which is a CBD oil brand. I look forward to mix manifestation with those two part of your life. And first, I give you 5 minutes to introduce yourself to the audience with your own words. So I'm interested in knowing where you come from, where you grew up, if you moved during your life, and what led you to be Miss Sweden and to found this business later on.
Yeah. Hi, Kevin. Thank you so much for having me. And I think you introduced me very well. You said the main points. But yes, so my name is Camilla HANSSON. I was born in Sweden, in Stockholm. And at the age of 18, I moved to London. I just really wanted to live in a big city all my life. And so when I moved to London, my dream was really modeling. So I tried to be a model in my early days. It didn't go so well in the beginning, but then in 2014, I won Miss Sweden, as you pointed out, and from there my whole life changed. Really, the whole direction of my life. And so I did modeling for a few years, and then I set up a few businesses. I had a coaching business prior. I was teaching modeling and pageantry and etiquette actually after Miss Sweden. And then after a few years, I just changed and I became very passionate about health and wellness to the point where I actually studied natural medicine for a few years. And so then I at the same time I was struggling with a health condition. I had endometriosis or probably have endometriosis, which is something that causes very painful menstrual cramps. So then I came across CBD eventually, and it was the thing that helped me. And so I just felt so compelled to start this CBD wellness business for women, to provide a product really that I myself was looking for. So it really just started like that. Like I had an issue myself that I was dealing with, and I just sort of produced the product that I needed and just gave it to a few friends, and it helped them. And it was just very small start, and yeah, and that's kind of where I'm today. I'm just running that company now.
Okay. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that you wanted to be a model and you manifested your Miss Sweden position. Then you had another desire for wellness and you manifested it through the business. And you told me before to start this interview that those are not your two only stories about manifestation. You also have experience on manifesting money and manifesting partner. So we will talk about that. But first, let's come back to this desire you had for modeling and how you manifested your Miss Sweden position in 2014. So how did it all start? Like this desire for modeling, and I assume that you had the dream of being probably Miss Sweden before it happened. So did it start with just a singular idea? Did it start with a big, clear picture in your mind? More like a feeling, an intuition, or what I call an inner calling that is a bit blurry, but you know that is that thing that you must do? Like, how would you say it all starts for you?
Well, it's specifically the Miss Sweden, the dream of becoming Sweden started when I was very young. Actually, I think I was around 5 years old. I have pictures of myself, pretending to have won sort of Miss Universe and Miss World and all these things. Because at the time, this was the 90s when I was growing up. It was really like the biggest event of the year in my family to watch Miss Universe on TV. So it was something that I remember just looking forward to the whole year to watch this show. And I remember looking up to these women so much and thinking they're so elegant and beautiful, and just I was so inspired by them. So I really had this dream from like 5 years old. But then of course then you grow up and things change, and you sort of forget about it. But then when I was in my early 20s, I had a job actually. I was working in real estate, and I just remember feeling so unfulfilled. I just remember, always like looking at the time, waiting for my days to pass, and I just thought there must be more, to life than just waiting for every minute to go by so you can go home. And I just thought, my God, I mean, work is such a big part of your life, and I just don't want to have that feeling that that I want life, like my days, to go quicker and be over with, kind of thing. So I just felt, at the time I felt very stuck because I needed money, but at the same time I knew this job wasn't my path in life. So I just started thinking what I could do. And so I felt like I had to do something drastic. And then a friend of mine reminded me that, maybe I should go to try to do like pageants, because, but just because like he thought it was a good fit. And then, so I did, but I tried a few times, actually. Everyone thinks I won on the first time. I didn't, actually. I tried a few times. And I think after the third time I won, actually. But so I won then, and then I quit my job because I got sponsorship money, and then I never looked back in terms of like working for someone. So yes, and then after that I set up the coaching business, because then I had all this knowledge, about like image and pageantry and modeling. So yeah, so I never went back to working for someone after that. I don't know if that answered your specific question.
Yeah, well, it was a really inner desire you had when you were a kid, and then it came back again later on, because you were not satisfied and aligned with the life you had at the time. So that inner desire came back, telling you like, hey, you're not following the good way. This is the way you should follow. And
totally, and you feel it inside you. You feel if you're aligned, if you're in alignment with what you meant to do in your life. Because I feel like when I am, it just feels effortless. Like it's just like, it's just your life just flows, right? It's not like you're hitting a wall like every single day. Like your life is flowing, right? And there's just this natural, almost like push from behind, and this sort of gentle flow to your life. And we all know if what we're doing is what we're meant to do in our lives or not. And I just, but I think the key thing is a lot of people don't act on it. They just don't make those changes. But for me, the big desire was just to be free as well. Like freedom is like my number one thing, like to the extremes. Like freedom is everything to me, and freedom. And then it was very important for me to find this thing that I was meant to do with my life. That was my calling, or whatever you want to call it. It was like the thing I was searching for, like my whole 20s, basically. Like it was just, I kept changing and this and that, and trying this business and this job, and just like nothing really felt right. But I think at the end of the day, it's better to try like 100 different things, and then eventually find the thing that's right for you, rather than just staying in the wrong thing. But everyone kept judging me, saying like, oh, you keep changing and this and that. Like, but yeah, I feel like life gets easier as you hit 30.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that too. the the 20s are quite a ride in terms of like the quest for meaning, the quest of of knowing who we are. It's very challenging.
Yeah, I feel for me, my 20s was just filled of pain and struggle and just, I don't know, just not knowing, like I said, not knowing who you are or what you're meant to do in this world and who you're meant to be with. Like it was just a lot of chaos for me in my 20s. So I actually prefer the 30s now. It's just more calm. Like I know what I'm doing. I know who I am. Like, you have a bit more security in your life and it's good. But you need that, right? Like you need to just to figure yourself out in your 20s and try different things. And that's what it's
Okay.
for.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe later on too. Like it
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
doesn't stop. Um, So there are so many things that I want to talk about what you said. But let's jump like what you said about the fact that a lot of people have this intuition in their calling, but they don't act on it. Um, and that's why I'm created this event. I'm created this event because so many people are stuck um, and don't follow the irrational or illogical feelings they have inside. Their analytical mind try to like prevent them from pursuing their desires with all the what if question. What if I fail? What if people reject me? What if I don't make money? What if it doesn't work out? Um, all the sacrifice that you have to make sometimes in order to manifest those desires. So what how would you describe this inner feeling? And I know it's a hard question, but how do you know that is the thing that you have to do? um, and maybe taking the example of Miss Sweden, what were your self-sabotaging stories, your fears before to manifest it? Like what were the things that were going on in your mind that could have make you not going for it?
Well, the fact that you put yourself out there for people to judge you, right? Like if you go for a competition like that, you're gonna be seen, you're gonna be in bikini and all these things. And what if you don't win? Then people might judge that, right? I think it's just that thing of being willing to put yourself out there, even if it's embarrassing or people will judge you, etc. Because it's easier to do nothing, right? Like then people just don't really care about you. But if if you, I think just the willingness to do slightly embarrassing things sometimes.
Mhm.
But in terms of my intuition, I think it was just I had this desire to do it, right? Like I think just you have to follow your desires in life. I had this I don't remember ever wanting anything as much as I wanted to be Miss Sweden at the time. Like it
Mhm.
was such a strong desire for me. And I think it came from different, I think there's different reasons for this desire. I think definitely one was like I was very insecure. I wanted recognition, I wanted to feel like I was someone in this world, like someone special or something like that. Like, I guess it comes from wanting love from people. So now when I look back on it, I think that was the desire in some ways. But in terms of following intuition, I mean, I wasn't as good as that in my 20s, but now because I do a lot of meditation and I've learned to follow my intuition. I think the more you learn to follow it, the more you trust it as well. So it's important that you always follow it, because that's how you start to trust it. And now
Mhm.
I don't follow my logical brain so much. And I think a lot of people around me always think that my decisions in life are a bit, unreasonable and not very sensible sometimes. But I just even if everyone around me gives me a certain advice and I feel differently, I just go with how I feel now because I know that ultimately only I have the answers, what's right for me in my life. But it's hard. I guess it's just this feeling, this knowing inside of you. But how do you connect to that? I think partly meditation, I think meditation is a big one for that. I think meditation has been life-changing for me.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so let's talk about that. Um, because, and reflecting on what you said too at the beginning, is that you ran for Miss Sweden not only one time, not only two times, but three times. It means that you you give up only when you decide. You fail once you give up, and for you, you haven't failed because you haven't given up, and you kept pursuing that desire one, twice, three times. So we can talk about meditation. So how does meditation help you to overcome your analytical mind and all those what if question, fears, limiting belief, to pursue intuition? And what are the other things alongside meditation that help you trusting your intuition and going for your intuition?
Well, I think in my 20s when I won Miss Sweden, I didn't meditate. I didn't know much about it. But I think it was just I guess in my, for example, well, to start with the Miss Sweden thing, I think I just desired it so much. And I am someone that if I really have a strong desire, I will make sure I get it. You know, like if I really want something, I just will make sure I get it to like any price kind of thing. Like that's just how I am. Like, but I need to want it strong, like strong enough, right? Like if it needs to be a really strong desire for it, and then you know, whatever it takes, I'll just do it. But in terms of intuition now in my later years and meditation and all these things, I am a very spiritual person, you know. I pray a lot, I meditate a lot. I like peacefulness. So I think because I am like that naturally, I am more in touch with how I feel, you know, in my body about the decisions and things like that. Like when I'm at home, I like it to be quiet, you know. I want to be able to feel spirituality in my life. And so I think I'm just very in touch with that, like my spiritual side. But I've nurtured it through prayer, meditation, and just just I don't know, just following a spiritual path, right? I think that's what it is for me.
Okay. So how do you define the spiritual part of you? Like what is the spiritual self? Because I know that there are a lot of people who think that spirituality is exclusive to a group of people who wear elephant pants, do yoga, keep like chanting and hugging each other 24/7. It's smoothie bowls. This is not spirituality. This is a lifestyle that has nothing to do with spirituality. So what is spirituality, and what is, how do you pray? Interesting on knowing like because in manifestation there is all this affirmation, auto-suggestion, experiencing the future reality before it happens, which is pretty much related to prayer from the, say, religious perspective or a religious understanding of manifestation. So what is spirituality for you, and how do you pray? What is the heart of praying for you?
It's a good question what spirituality is for me, and sometimes I struggle to explain that. But for me, I think the best way I can say it is that you're guided by something that's bigger than you, that is that's helping you, that's guiding you, that knows the best path in your life. I feel like I could not have done anything that I've done in my life if I didn't feel that I had this presence that's bigger than me, guiding me and helping me in my life. Because like me alone, I'm too small, right? I'm too small, and it's too scary as well to think that it's all on you. So for me, and you mentioned affirmations and all these things, I do all of that too. I'm a big fan of that as well, and visualization, etc. So I believe in angels, you know, I believe in God, universe, and I believe we can call on angels or universe for help, and especially if we're doing something that's good for other people as well. So for example, when I started the business, it was very much I felt it was a spiritual calling. And I remember at the time I was reading the book The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. It's such an amazing book. And I just remember she was explaining about like how you can ask for signs and things like that. And for a lot of people, this will be very like woo woo, but I'm just being completely honest, you know. And so I remember asking for signs like, you know, if is this business, you know, the right path for me? Is this what I need to do? And the signs that I asked for was just so clear, you know, it was so clear. And so I just felt that's the one thing that made me feel that I need to keep going, because if, you know, if universe or God tells me this is the right thing, how can it possibly be wrong? So if I didn't have that feeling that I had this spiritual guidance and kind of calling, I think it would be very difficult to keep up the momentum and to keep going. But and yeah, because if you think it's just you know, it's very scary then. Like, but if you think that you can, you know, that you that that you know you have something bigger than you helping you, then that's a better feeling.
Mm-hmm. I I resonate with that. And would you say that you've always been like that, or this belief is something that you build up along the way, and especially after winning Miss Sweden? Like, have you always been believing in that, or is it something that really started after?
I've always been spiritual, but in a different way. Like I grew up Catholic, so I do think that's one like the best thing my mother did for me, that she introduced me to church and God. Now my view of you know spirituality and religion has expanded, I would say, but it started by me being a Catholic, you know, going to church every Sunday, praying. And so yeah, I've always felt the presence of God in my life. But now I've just expanded my view a little bit of what spirituality is. And but yes, always has that been a big part of my life. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I resonate with what you say. Like sharing, this is just part of my story. Um, I grew up in Catholic way too, but I completely rejected religion out of my life at the age of 7. I was like, no, all those stories are bullshit. I don't want to hear from that. So I grew up as a teenager and as a young adult as someone who were atheist. I didn't believe in anything else higher or bigger than myself. And everything shifted a few years ago when I started to study the law of attraction, because now there is a strong scientific background that explain how it works. And then I had the proof in front of my eyes that it's scientifically explainable and understandable nowadays. So I couldn't say that I don't believe in that anymore. It's like saying like I don't believe in the law of gravity. It's it wouldn't make sense. So I started to dig into that and made my first experimentation of the law of attraction and manifestation, and I was shocked by discovering that yes, there is obviously a force that we cannot see, that everyone has his own explanation or way to describe, that is present and that help us to achieve our desires by defying space and time somehow. And like for people who are not familiar with this topic, I'm used to say that the universe is our personal assistant, and works hand on hand with us, and we have to send the right kind of message in order to have back the same kind of reality. So doing that, the how do you describe manifestation? What is manifestation for you, and how do you do that? So you say that you pray, you say that you do affirmation, auto suggestion. You told me you move from having a proper vision board to having an app on your phone. So can you tell us what is manifestation for you, and how do you
Yeah.
practically use the art of manifestation in your life?
I guess I believe everything is energy, right? So I believe that you attract the energy of what you desire when you visualize it, for example. So the way I do it is, first of all, I'm super careful with my words because I feel actually that I'm quite a good manifester. So I am very careful with how I talk to people, what I talk about. I'm very mindful of my thinking, you know, I'm very mindful. Of course, we all have bad days and that's normal, but it's okay to have a bad day, but not, you know, like, but I'm conscious about it all the time. So the words I speak, my thinking, I'm very conscious about it. I always, you know, focus on feeling good and being positive, even if that means, you know, yes, I'm going to work less today because I'm going to do something that makes me feel good, like exercise or, you know, whatever. Or just as a woman, sometimes you just need to, you know, just do nothing and just be relaxed. So I always focus on feeling good because I always feel like if I feel good, then even in business, like things will be good. Like you'll have good things coming to you. And so yes, I use vision boards, and like you said, nowadays I have an app on the phone. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a vision board app. And what else do I do? I visualize sometimes during meditation what I want, and I write affirmations of already having it. I use gratitude a lot, and I'm just really consciously creating the life that I want, you know, rather than just. And I do believe that we are in control of our lives, and I remind my friends that all the time, even though we're going through a very difficult and strange time in the world now, you know, with the pandemic and everything. But I still believe we have control over our lives in so many ways, you know, and so I'm always mindful of that. And I never have the victim mentality. You know, I'm always like, okay, well, you don't like the situation you're in now. Well, create something different and just focus on what I want rather than focusing all the time what I don't want and what's wrong and this and that. So I'm very conscious like that. And it's a huge part of my life, actually, like how I use law of attraction and like yeah, because I think it's just the easiest way to get what you want in your life. You know, hard work is important, but I might not even work as hard as people think, if I'm honest. It's like, you know, and I also don't believe in this old model of working. You know, people think that if you have a business, you don't have any personal life, you don't have a life at all, and you're stressed, you're unhealthy, all this stuff. I just don't believe in that model anymore. Like, I do believe you can have a good balance between your personal life and business, and you know, just work smart and be free. And like, I travel all the time and I work from anywhere, and like, I just live life on my terms. And I know a lot of my friends and people I know, like, they say like I don't work, whatever, just because just because their way of working is you have to go to an office and you have to work for a company and you have to do these hours and long hours, and then you go home and, you know, whatever, and you're exhausted, you don't have time for anything. But I just work the way I work, in a way that suits me, you know, and as long as it works, which it does, as long as you get the results you want, then, you know, then it's all good.
Yeah, you create and manifest your life of freedom that you're seeking, and you create it on your own terms. Absolutely, and I resonate with the fact that you say that work hard and work smart, which means take action, because manifestation or the law of attraction is not a wait on your sofa and see what happens. If you don't take action, even tiny action, if you don't overcome your fears, it means that the desire that drives you is not strong enough. You don't really want it. If there, I'm used to say to my clients, if there are too many excuses that show up, it means that you're not dreaming big enough. Because when you dream so fucking big, like it's sending out an energy that propels you towards what you want, and you take action, even if it's tiny minor action, but you do something. If you don't do anything, don't expect any result to happen. Don't know
I
if
think
you.
that's it. Like, no, I mean, no, I was just gonna say something brief. I think that's it. Like, you have to. I think if you visualize and use the law of attraction in terms of visualization, etc. But then you also have to, of course, do some work. But I think that combination is the most powerful. Like, I think if you only work hard and you're not using visualization and a lot of attraction, I think it can be like a struggle, like very difficult. But I think if you combine both, that's like the most powerful thing in my experience.
Okay, so let's be a bit more practical, if you're okay. Can you show us or tell us an example of what is an affirmation, like in the way you did it, maybe in the past, related to a specific desire or specific thing that you wanted to attract? What is the thing that you visualize, and what is something that you auto-suggested to yourself or auto-affirmed? Like, can you give us example of what it looks like?
Like what I'm trying to create in my life, or just how, like what tools I use to create what I want?
Yeah, in what tools and in which way? Maybe you can bring an example of the past of like, how do you visualize? Like, what do you see exactly? What kind of affirmation you used? Because the key is to feel the future reality, to see the future reality, to talk about the future reality, to experience it before it happens. So do you have some practical example of things you've been doing, or things you're doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, okay, if you just take the example of setting up the business, right, like Camilla Organics, then I will just write out sometimes, like, I'm so happy and grateful, that I now have this global wellness business. So I write like, I'm so grateful, and then write what I want being in the present moment. I mean, this is very basic, but I think it's quite effective. So yeah, I would write things that I'm grateful for, that I want to achieve in my life, that I haven't achieved yet, and then just feel that feeling of having it, right? That's one thing. The other thing is, like, for example, if we stick to the example of setting up the business, I was thinking, like, what sort of identity would a person like that need to have? If you have this multi-million-pound business that's this global wellness brand, what kind of person would I be, if I was really running that kind of business that I want? So then I started thinking, like, how would this person act? How would this person think? What decisions would they make? So I really put myself in that identity of being someone who runs a big business like that. And I think that's very effective for drawing what you want to as well. Because if you have this really small thinking, etc., but you want this big business, it's not really in alignment. So that's the other thing. And then, so yes, so I do put pictures of what I want, like, on a vision board as well, like I said, like, but as an app. And so it could be like Forbes or just, I don't know, like certain financial goals, or even attracting a partner, etc. So then when I wake up, I look at this vision board, and then I know, like, why I'm doing what I'm doing, like, and I think that's a big motivation to get up in the morning and work. And what else do I do? I mean, when I found The Secret Book, this by Rhonda, what's her last name?
Rhonda Byrne.
Yeah. When I found this book in my early 20s, it really changed my life. Like, it really changed my life. I felt like that's when I just started taking control of my life and started creating my life, rather than just being this victim. And so even today, I read most of her books, and I still read like a page every day or every other day from one of her books, just to keep reminding myself about these principles, and just to remind myself that I have to feel good in order to attract good things in my life and things like that. So yeah, and like I said, I'm always conscious about how I talk. Like, if I'm complaining, which sometimes I do, but I'm conscious that I'm doing it, and I think just to be positive, like even now when we're going through this really difficult time in the world, like, maybe it doesn't come naturally to be positive now, but you you have to force it a bit more. But like, this is, I mean, it's like, to stay positive is really like your life depends on it, really. I mean, because otherwise, otherwise you're just gonna, things are just not gonna go well for you. So you have to stay really positive and just be focused on what you want. Stop thinking and complaining about what you don't want. Just solely focus on what you want and have this big vision, right? And in terms of business, I always think you have to do something that creates value for people and something that's good for people. And when you have that as well, like that, I don't know if that's about manifestation, but like, I just felt like, for example, like my products were helping people. And that's also a big motivational factor, because it's more than just, me and like my dreams. Is also about like, you have this purpose of helping people. And but yeah, I just, I think, and just to meditate a lot to clear out the bad energy, to just so that you're just clear and feel good. I think a lot of it is about feeling good as well. Yeah, to attract good things.
Yeah, it's like feeling and having faith in the outcome is, for me, is the key. Like when you have a strong desire, you can feel the experience of this strong desire in the future, and you build that faith on the fact that 100% that it's going to happen. That combination while taking action is the click that we need. And talking about meditation, I discovered you because you were talking about the 6-phase meditation from Vishen Lakhiani, the founder of Mind Valley. Is that something that you would recommend to people who are not used to meditate or familiar with meditation? Like, would you recommend this meditation, or do you have any other recommendation for people?
Yeah, so I always kept reading about meditation, but every time I tried to do it, I didn't get it. I didn't get what I was doing. And it wasn't until I met Vishen and I came across his meditation, the 6-phase meditation, that it really resonated with me. Like when I did that meditation, I got it. Like I was like, okay, great. Like it shifts my whole mindset, and it's part of the meditation is also like visualizing your day and visualizing your future. So I felt when I started my day doing this meditation, just again put me in control of my day and my visions for my future. So I love this meditation. I think I would recommend it to anyone currently meditating or thinking of meditating, because I think it's a great one to do. I also did a course in transcendental meditation. So I sort of alternate between those two. Like sometimes I do TM, transcendental meditation, and sometimes I do the 6-phase. And also other ones, like sometimes like that I find, but those are the main two that I do.
Okay, so let's start now to few of your manifestation stories, because you say you manifested your Miss Sweden title, you manifested the business you're currently doing now. We'll talk about this one later on. But you also told me you manifested partner, you manifested money. So can you tell us about, like, quickly about a few big synchronicity stories that happen, like the result of the law of attraction? Because law of attraction is sending out the right energy or frequency through visualization, the words that you're using, how you feel your future reality, and then you receive it back, which I call the synchronicities. So do you have like a few synchronicity stories for us?
Yes, but also now I'm just thinking, okay, to start with money. I mean, that's a topic a lot of people are interested in. So for me, and this is actually, so I've always given away 10% of everything I make. And I think that, I mean, I do it because I want to do it, but I also think it helps the abundance of it. And also Vishen, who you mentioned, he told me that, whenever you want to manifest something, you have to think that it helps 2 or more people. Is it 2 or 3? Yeah, I think 2 or more people. So whatever I want in my life, when I visualize wanting it, I also visualize how it's helping at least 2 more people. Or yeah. So for example, with money, I would visualize okay, I need this for myself, but also I will give this much to, say, my mother, and then, you know, I will put this much into the business, which will then help all these women. You see what I mean? Like, so that's how I do it, actually, when it comes to a lot of things that I want, and that I think it has to help 2 or more people. So it can't be like, I mean, you can visualize getting a Ferrari, but might be more difficult. I don't know. So what else did you ask me? Sorry.
Yeah, like some synchronicities or manifestation stories that you have about money, like a way that you attracted money, like what happened for the money to come to you, or what happened for a partner to show up in your life. Like if you have those kind of what people call luck or coincidence, like kind of unbelievable stories that could have happened to you.
Yeah, I do have a lot of those. I mean, even recently I bought, you know, my dream home in Sweden, and even that, like, it wasn't really like I wasn't really able to buy it really, but it was like, I don't know, just this kind of lack of faith that just made everything possible. But in reality, it was impossible to buy it. But it just, yeah, things like that. But to be more specific, like I don't know, the thing that I can think about the most is the business now again, because like I just felt all the time that I had this push behind me, and the right people were coming into my life, and you know, when there was a problem, you know, I just somehow, you know, the solution came, and just, but again, just because I felt that what I was doing, what was a business that would also help other women. So I think when you're in alignment like that, your life just flows. Like there's just certain energy and ease to your life, and people will come to your life, you know, that will help you. And you know, just there will just be synchronicities like that when you're in alignment and doing what you're meant to do in your life, you know. That's what I've experienced for sure. And with the other things, I think, yeah, like even the apartment, it did benefit more people than me. And think, yeah, so I think it's really good if you can think what you like in terms of what you want, how does that benefit 2 or more people, and really visualizing benefiting them as well, you know. I think you get a lot of help from the universe when you do it that way.
Okay. Do you have an example of someone you say people, like for your business? Do you have an example of a specific person that show up in your life and help you for this business?
Yeah, I mean, even the person who manufactures our product, you know, he's just like an angel, and he's just the best. Like you know, I didn't know where to manufacture it, and then he showed up at sort of a CBD conference, and just you know, or whenever I needed money for the business, it just happened to show up, not from that business specifically, but like in other ways, and just so that I could continue funding the business, you know, just so randomly, like whenever I needed, I don't know, like a few thousand to pay for something, then randomly showed up in other ways, you know, like things like that. Or just what else? Or just people that, you know, interview you, and then people, you know, like you, and then people find out about the brand, and then they follow you that way. Just, I don't know, like I just always feel like I have a lot of help behind me, specifically with this kind of business. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And before to start this business, did you have? I believe that each time we are building, creating something new, we have this imposter syndrome, those limiting beliefs, those fears that show up again, telling us that we're not good enough, we are going to fail, we are making the wrong decisions. What are the kind of, again, fears, limiting beliefs that show up before you started to build that new entrepreneurship journey?
Yeah, we all have those feelings. I still have those feelings all the time. I mean, even just doing this interview, I'm like, you know, who am I to do this interview? You know what I mean? Like, I think I know even the most, like, I know even billionaires who are like that. You know, they still feel they are no one. You know what I mean? Like, So I think it's obviously it's a mindset, but I think in terms of the fears I had setting up the business, yeah, of course there were many. Again, it's about I had to put myself out there, right? Like telling people now I have this business, and for people to sort of think maybe, oh, maybe it doesn't look good, or why is she doing this or this or that. But so, and my other fears were, I think the main thing is that you feel like, okay, how are people going to think about this? Like the fact that you have this business, and what if it doesn't succeed? Is kind of embarrassing, like things like that. But again, like that book helped me so much, The Universe Has You Back by Gabrielle Bernstein, because she talks a lot about turning, from like whenever you feel fear, like switch it to love instead, so that you and she says that if you feel fear, it means that you're relying on your own guidance rather than the universe guidance, and it means you're out of alignment, right, like with the universe. So things like that, like I always try to switch from fear to love, and rely on the universe, like guidance, to help me set up the business. And just because I got so many signs as well and things like that. But yeah,
what kind of
I
signs?
just always try to create. Oh, well, you choose, according to her, you choose your own sign. So for me, it was like 1111, but it's just when it shows up, it's obvious. Like it's just like it's not like, oh, it's 1111. Like you really feel it's the sign. And so yeah, she always talks about just like how, and also asking the universe like how to use you for service in the world, and to basically to co-create, right, everything with the universe. So yeah.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, the co-creation, not just creation, but the co-creation. It's very important.
And just to go back to being in the energy of love all the time, because when you feel fear, I think you're out of alignment with the universal loving energy, right? So yeah, that's what I try to do. Create
yes,
love.
to be in the feeling. And there's a great distinction for people about, for example, being grateful. Like when you're grateful, you cannot be stressed. You cannot experience or you cannot be afraid. You cannot experience two type of emotions at the same time. And the thing is to be grateful, not to write grateful, but to be grateful. A lot of people think that, oh, I'm going to write down 20 things I'm grateful for, and then I do another thing, and that's it. I'm grateful. No, it's not called writing grateful. It's being grateful. So it doesn't matter how many things you're grateful for, but how many things do you feel grateful for? And it's when you feel that you are grateful. So it's not necessary to put like 20 things on the list. Even one thing is enough if you're really grateful for, like, you're grateful for something. When you think about it, you have a smile on your face, that it's the result of the emotion you're experiencing. So pick that one thing that you're really grateful for, and let it put a smile on your face, and that way you are grateful. And this is way more powerful than just writing down things without involving any feelings or emotions. And it's the same thing with what you just said with love. Like, feel one thing you're in love with. It can be yourself, it can be your life, it can be your house, it can be your you're in love with the fact that there is your friend in your life, or because you have that skill or capacity of doing this or that. Be in love with something and feel that love, even if it's just for 1 or 2 minutes at the beginning. But experience the feeling. And if you don't know how to do, just try. 1 time, 2 time, like with you, with Miss Sweden, 1 time, 2 time, 3 times, and again, until you reach that point of, oh, I'm able to do it better, and then you can improve.
Yeah, and I think gratitude is just such an amazing tool that we all have access to. I mean, again, during the pandemic and everything, like, you know, just I woke up because I also, of course, started to feel down, and like whenever I woke up, I just said, no, I have to write down 5 to 10 things I'm grateful for, but also really feel them, you know, and that just instantly changes your mood. You know, it's like you said, it's
Mm-hmm.
impossible to be down or depressed when you're in the feeling of gratitude, and I think that's an amazing tool to use just to shift how you feel. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, we understand each other about that. Camille, I have two more questions for you. The first one is a personal question. So I would like imagining people following their desire. What is the desire that you haven't started to pursue yet? Something that is super big, and that if you knew you had a 100% chance of success, a guarantee of success, you would start taking action towards when this call is over. Like, what is the next big thing you want to achieve, you want to manifest, you want to attract?
So for me, I feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to do in my life, but I would like to do on a bigger scale, right? So I would like Camille Organics to be like a really big global wellness business. So I guess if I knew that it couldn't fail, I would be more bold and I would put more money into it. You know, I would take more risks. That's what I would do. Like I would just, yeah, I would take more risks with it. Not that I would do like another business because I love my business and I just feel it's the right thing, but I would be more bold. So I would put like all my savings and like just go, you know, all in like that. But I've been at zero before. Like I've been, you know, I've had good money before and I have been at zero, and I don't think I would never risk it all anymore to be at zero. So I just don't think I can do that. But that's what I would do if I knew I couldn't fail.
Okay. Well, you
If
still have
that's
one insight here is to do something. You have a calling to do something bolder.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
what you have inside. Okay,
I
that's
think
interesting.
so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you know what you have to do. It doesn't have to involve all your money, but you know that there is something bolder waiting for you.
I think so. You're right. Yeah. And yeah, now when you said it, I think that might switch something in me in me as well. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that question helped you. Um, so I look forward to see your next bold move.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
My next question and last question is an advice for people who are watching us right now. People who have this irrational, illogical intuition, those feeling that they're afraid to pursue, this inner calling that they cannot explain to themselves or to other people. What would you be your best advice for those people who are lacking the confidence to go for it? Or maybe some people who already dare to take steps towards it but feel trapped in the how to get there.
I mean, if we're talking about entrepreneurship specifically, then I would say, like in my case, I really started very small. Like whenever I thought of it too big, I felt too much pressure, you know. And in the end, I did nothing because I just felt I couldn't handle it. But I think the main thing is just like if you have a product or an idea, just start really small, you know. Like it's in the beginning, it's a trial and error thing anyway. Get some feedback, you know. If people like it, you can put a bit more money into it or maybe raise some money, but like just start small, you know, just get it off the ground. It's the main thing. Like because most people when they have an idea they never realize it, right? Like in terms of having a business idea. So I would say in my case it helped to just think small in the beginning. Like I had a big vision of the future, but start small, like because if it's too big, you might never get it off the ground, you know. So just start small and then you improve and change as you go along. But at least then you have a business to work on rather than not having it to work on. So that was just something that helped me. And then I think another thing that helped me was like I had 3 really supported people in my life at the time, who, you know, who whenever I had doubts, etc., I was, you know, I was going to them. I think that's very helpful as well. But just, yeah, and just know that your desires, I do believe that the desires and dreams we have inside of us is your path in life. Like that's, you know, it's unique for you, that the universe or God has put inside you, you know, that's your path. I do believe that. So I believe that, you know, we're never going to have a truly fulfilling life unless we realize, you know, unless we get on the right, on our path in life. So I think, but it ultimately, I think when you start a business, etc., it's really not about being the smartest person. I mean, I think sometimes it's the opposite, because like, for example, me, like I don't overanalyze all the details, but like, for example, I know like some people who, like, for example, my sister, I would say she's smarter than me, but because she's so smart, she over analyzes everything. And when you start a business, if you over analyze everything, it's like, it's never going to happen, right? Because it just doesn't usually make sense. So you just have to go more for that inner feeling, like you talked about, and just that conviction that this is your desire and your path, even if it's not logical to other people. And yeah, I think entrepreneurs, the difference is they're just very bold people, and they're comfortable with taking risks. Not necessarily, in my view, more intelligent. Some people are, but like, I don't feel like that's the case for me. I think I'm just very comfortable with taking risks and going for it and being quite bold with these things and putting myself out there. I think that's the difference.
Okay, thank you very much for this insight. So yeah, so you can, to sum up, you can like be driven by this big vision or this big desire, but don't let it fool you by the board, like the big picture or the boldness of the picture, and take tiny step, tiny action towards it that can simply make you, as you say, take off the ground. And because you do something, then you push yourself towards doing something else, and you build it up like this. And don't overanalyze. Yeah, that's a trap. The smartest you are, the more analytical you are, and it's your biggest obstacle on your way to success. So thank you for sharing that with us. For people who want to follow Camilla and their brand Camilla Organics, I'm going to put the link. It's on the email that you received, so that you can follow her, and you can follow her entrepreneurial journey as well. Thank you very much, Camilla, for your time, for sharing your manifestation knowledge and experience. As you said, and as you highlight, it's possible in any area of your life. Can be a partner, money, business, big desires from the childhood. So thank you for showing us that when we tap into that spiritual and faithful state, this is where the magic happens.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
so true. No, thank you for having me. I feel like I learned a few things as well. And yeah, I mean, I just love that you do the combination of entrepreneurship and spirituality and manifestation, because that's really just like all I'm about. And I think not enough people talk about those connections. So I think that's great that you have this platform to talk about it in this way.